Welcome, Francisco. Thank you so much for joining our VL Spotlight. It's a pleasure to meeting you again. In this case, and Francisco, I know that you, as you can see, my name is Ramiro to the audience, and you're Francisco Diaz, which I know you work on the real estate and have a lot of experience. You've been working with what is the real estate since a long time ago. I know you're from California, right? But you moved to
Yeah.
Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
In this case,
Yeah.
I know that most of our audience would like to know more about you. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about how is that you started all this about in the real estate.
Absolutely. So you said it right. My name is Francisco Diaz, and I'm originally from Los Angeles, California. When I was a kid, my family moved us to Arkansas, and I've lived here ever since. Whenever I graduated high school, I had the opportunity to attend college, and then I got introduced to real estate by a buddy of mine, and I got licensed. But at the time, I thought it was going to be more of like a easy sales job, nothing too sophisticated, but come to find out, being in real estate is having your own business. So it took me about a year to figure that out. And my second year in business, I finally was able to comprehend the in and outs of working real estate, growing my clientele, growing my business. And thankfully, now I've been an agent for 6 years. I'm now an executive broker. I now am a team leader with 10 agents, me as a broker, and one of our virtual assistants who makes up our admin and staff. And it's been great. I was able to get my college degrees as well, so I'm happy about that too.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, and the real estate actually is something that's growing very fast. I've seen that progress as well in your company. We've seen that's how it's growing, and also I understand that you got what is like also recognition from our Kansas, right? And in this case, because of your achievements you've done so far. So, but I will.
Absolutely.
In this case, if somebody would like to like purchase a home or to sell a home, what would be your advice for that person if they're watching right now this video?
Give me a call.
I
Um,
totally agree with it.
Yeah, so my advice would definitely be to consult an agent, whether it be anybody from my real estate team or any other agent who you might know, and have them sit down with you and have a consultation on what the process of buying a house is. There's a lot that plays into it. Every one of my consultations is about 1 hour long, and we offer a ton of value to the client so they're prepared and they can decide whether or not buying a house is right for them at that time. For example, we'll talk about financing options, how the real estate market is it right for them in their personal financial situation to buy a house now or maybe wait? Talk about the pros and the cons about buying a property. And my goal is for them to be educated as I am on what buying a home entails and have them be the ones to decide whether or not it's right for them at that moment.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. Nowadays people actually have like a lot of ideas and they don't know who to go with. In this case, actually, I know you founded what is the Diaz team and you're so young. So how did it all come like
Thank you.
together? How did like you decided to like found the Diaz team and how was it? How's been your
Thank
experience
you.
so far?
Thank you. So initially, whenever I was lost as a new agent in my first year of business, I joined a team, and that team was able to help me exponentially grow my business. After about a year and a half, I thought I had gotten a lot of experience and nuggets on being able to go out on my own. So I did. I left the team, and I was what you call a solo agent, working on my own. Thankfully and gratefully, quickly, I was able to grow my clientele to the point where I hired my first assistant. At the time, is somebody who was a friend of mine here locally. I hired him on, and then I said, "Okay, well, I'm paying you a salary, but I don't have that much work for you. So how about, because I'm just now growing, I need about 10 hours a week, not 40 hours a week." So I then had a couple agents who I encountered and they were new. They were in my shoes just a few years prior. So I said, "Hey, how about you join my team? Let's make a company and you can benefit from my mentorship, my tools, and my assistant. My assistant needs work." So we started off as about a 3, 4 agent total team. And from there, we just kind of grew. I always kept offering value to newer agents who wanted to be a part of a growing company. And I was able to improve my leadership during that time. And that's kind of how the DS team evolved. It was more of a solo agent needing help, and my value proposition was I want to offer value to the agents, educate them, and in return, they'll want to work with me. So that's how we grew.
Definitely. And that's actually reflected in your work as well. We can like your clientele. I saw some reviews actually on the internet and I could see like
Thank you.
people's very happy with your work. And I
Thank
know for
you.
sure that because of the people that it's working with you, like in this case, some remote agents that you decided to have in your team, they actually
Mhm.
as well gave very good reviews of the working environment. So I think people see that. And nowadays it's very important for them to trust someone if they want to like to find a home in this case or anything in specific, the first thing they're gonna look up into is a person they can trust and know that they can rely on to take a decision like that. So,
Absolutely.
and now talking about what I mentioned about like your teamwork and everything that's involved in your company, I would like to know like what made you take the decision of going forward and being modern and adapt to the new era now working with people remotely, like how
Mhm.
it's been and what inspired you to take that decision.
Absolutely. So, like I mentioned, my first assistant was somebody here locally in Northwest Arkansas. After a while of working with us, I think it's in human nature to want to grow. So he also wanted to grow from being just an assistant, making a base salary, to being a real estate agent and making commission and getting compensated for the work that you're doing. So we eventually got him into that commission role, that agent role. Now, I was happy about that, but the negative was I don't have an assistant anymore. And we hired a second assistant who unfortunately just didn't work out. Uh, our goals were simply not aligned, and she had some advantages of being an assistant, but there was also some areas where we were lacking a bit of help. So it just wasn't a good match after a few months, and I find myself, okay, well, I invested a lot of time in training, a lot of money in training, and now I'm back to square one. I don't have an assistant, and that lowered my productivity. So gratefully, I was able to network with another agent in a different market who introduced me to Virtual Latinos. And I said, "Oh wow, I've heard of VAs, but my biggest problem has been I need someone bilingual. That's always been something I need, somebody bilingual with good experience, a good background." So that's whenever I connected with Virtual Latinos. You guys did a great job of introducing me to the company and how you guys operate. And thankfully, it was just a very good experience. So one of the benefits I found was you guys were able to match me with somebody at an affordable rate, somebody who was committed into working with our team, somebody who was bilingual, fluent in Spanish and English, and someone who already had a background in real estate and had been an assistant for other companies in the past. So it was a perfect fit. Whereas in the past, I had trouble finding someone who was bilingual, somebody who had good technical experience and background, somebody who was actually going to be loyal and stay around as well. So it was just a perfect match.
Excellent. Yeah, I agree totally. In this case, nowadays we have technology that gives you opportunity to work remotely and actually get skills from parts that are far away. In this case, I know that bilingual person, it's actually very effective. I know for that you are bilingual as well.
Mhm.
So I could see that
Absolutely.
actually when I was reading about you. And yeah, that's awesome. In this case, nowadays, you get to have talent from everywhere. And I'm glad that Virtual Latinos could provide that to you. Okay. We go through a strict process and we try to just filter the best agents to our customers for them to have the best experience along the way and a long lasting relationship with each of their agents. And
Absolutely.
and I'm glad that in this case you had that experience so far. And in this case, also I was reading about now that we're mentioning like travel and all that. In my case, I travel a
Mhm.
lot because I work remotely. Thanks to Virtual
Okay.
Latinos, I have the opportunity. But I was reading about your hobbies, and I heard that one of them is you like to travel.
I do.
Is there
Yes.
some places like you're planning to visit, or how is that?
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because I'm super grateful for Virtual Latinos. I was able to take on my first VA, I think it was in October. It would have been sooner, but I was in California at the time, visiting Los Angeles and Southern California. And I had to postpone that interview with the VA. And thankfully, you guys were able to accommodate me. But whenever I was able to bring on the VA and introduce them to my team, they quickly adapted within a few weeks and they were running on their own. And I needed that throughout the month of November because in December, I was going to be traveling for a full month. and my business would have been handicapped without a VA there helping me to hold, the business and the fort. So in December, I actually went to Puerto Rico, which is by far my favorite place I've been to so far. I love the people, the food, the culture, beautiful beaches, scenery. Overall, a very good experience. I absolutely loved it. And from there, I went down to McAllen, Texas to visit my in-laws and their family. And McAllen, Texas borders Mexico. So I was able to make it to Mexico for a day and just kind of, eat some good tacos and, kind of shop around there at the strip. And then I was able to go to Guatemala and El Salvador to welcome the new year. So definitely a lot of traveling here recently, and looking forward to future trips.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Actually, all the places that you've gone, they have really good food. I'm a foodie person, so it's
Hmm.
very good. I mean, I like tacos in Mexico, and well, I like trying every place. At this point right now, I'm in Brazil, so I know about food a little
Oh,
bit.
wow.
Yeah, and it's an experience that you only get to work and have when you work remotely. So, and
I
something that I love
agree.
as well. Yeah, and it's very helpful. And I understand in this case that you are very like you adapt to the circumstances. You're trying to move forward, be modern, and
Mhm.
also like to see what it's like most efficient. And I believe your customers will see the same. But I would like to know, in case someone wants to reach out to you, how do they like reach out to you? That would is it social media? You have your webpage.
Absolutely. So if you're looking for a home and kind of want to get into the market and see what's currently available, you can always go to my home search website at franciscodiaz.fathomrealty.com and look at property for sale. You can also find me on Facebook at Francisco Diaz, my personal page, or my business page at the Diaz Team at Fathom Realty. Also on Instagram at Homes NWA or NWA Realtor. You can find me on LinkedIn under Francisco Diaz. My email is northwestarkansasrealtor@gmail.com if you ever want to connect. Or if you ever want to just speak with me about anything with real estate or any recommendations here locally or traveling, I'm happy to. You can contact me at 479-426-9107. So several methods to contact me.
Yeah, there's all put in the table. So right now, you guys, if somebody's watching this video, you can reach out to Francisco. Actually, I know for sure he'll be able to provide what you're looking for. In this case, if you want to learn a little bit, or if you want to just see how things are around, or you need an advice because you want to purchase a home or you want to sell your home, he's the right person for you. Okay. In this case, I know so far I've read everything about him. I know the people has worked with him. So and everything it's very positive, and I know for sure that in this case things are going very well, and I know your company is growing very fast,
Hmm.
and I'm looking forward to see and how things will go on in like five or like some 5 months and a year, or I don't know, like in 5 years,
Definitely. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. And like you said in the beginning, I'm still pretty young. I'm 25 years old and I've been in real estate for 6 years now, since I was 19. Gratefully, my what other people would call disadvantage of me being, for example, a minority in the United States, as a Hispanic, and for being so young, I'm thankful I was able to make that into an opportunity because right now 90% of my clientele is Hispanic. So that's why I need a bilingual VA. And that's something that 95% of my competition doesn't have. They're not able to service that market because they don't even speak Spanish. So that was one reason for my growth. And the second one is an old saying that people like working with people who look like you. So with our peers, I'm a Generation Z. I connect a lot with Generation Z and millennials and first-time home buyers or people who are just interested in real estate, and they'd rather work with me than an older agent that reminds them of their grandparents, for example. So that was another advantage I had, growing my business. So we've come a long way over the past 6 years in growth, and even imagining 5 years more or 6 years more, hopefully we can double our production and our head count with how many agents we have.
Yeah, definitely I can see that. And something that I know that I just found out right now is that you're 25 years old. I'm older than you. I feel bad. I mean, but Yeah, but it's still a very like I'm honored to have this meeting with you and have the opportunity to
Likewise.
speak with you and know a little bit more about your business and for everyone to know as well how it's I think something that they can look up to as well because so young and you've done so much and you I know that you have not a lot of knowledge in the area so they can rely on you for all this information that you mentioned as well. If you want to like just ask any question to Francisco, he'll be more than happy to help you. I don't know, Francisco, before we end this meeting, is there something else that you would like to add or share to the audience just for them to know?
Yes, one final thing. Like you mentioned, I do work in Arkansas and live in Arkansas, but I can help people with real estate nationwide and worldwide. So if you're in a different market and you're interested in buying or selling a property, please keep me in mind as your first call, and I'm happy to connect you with the best agent in your market. So that's part of the benefit of being an agent with a large company, Fathom Realty, and also being connected with many agents across the globe is we have a lot of connections, and we're happy to connect you with the right agent. No matter what market you're in, we're happy to help.
It sounds great. So everyone already knows, and thank you so much for sharing, Francisco. And I appreciate your time. And I know, in this case, we're gonna keep our relationship and continue working with you. And so happy to having you. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you everyone watching this video.
Thank you, Ramiro. It was great to be here.
Anytime. Bye bye.
Bye bye.